Okay, so here's the thing. I want to move out. Now I have been living in this place all by myself for about 6 or 8 months, now almost a year in next few months. But this is not my house. This is my house / my office space. I mean, my parents are staying very close to this place, so I do go there to eat my lunch and dinner most often. But this is a place where I've been sleeping and working for all this while. I've been trying to build this beautiful thing and a lot of other things that you will be very much surprised by in the coming months, which I've been working on, which I've been brainstorming for a while. But the idea, the point, today's video is not about Cavs Grooming. Today's topic, gentlemen, is about the whole fancier liberal concept called moving out. Now I do want to move out. I'm 30 years old, but what are the few things that I would want you to keep in mind before you head out and move out? Gentlemen, my name is Mayank Bhattacharya. These are the lessons I have learned, and I'm still learning on my process of actually separating myself from my family and moving out. So hope this helps. Hope this becomes an insightful one for you. Let's roll the intro. Okay, first thing first, in case you haven't, go to tmbasics.com, go to boston.com, check out our sexy t-shirts, polos, Henleys, crew necks, and our sexy sneakers and boots in case you haven't so far. And second, most important thing, in case you haven't checked out Cavs Grooming's Instagram, check it out. The launch is coming very soon. This is the final packaging, by the way. This is the final product base that we have. We are still working on a few things here and there because there are minor changes that I'm making, which will probably be done in a week or two's time, or maybe a lot sooner than that, but I'll probably take a couple of weeks time because I don't want you to wait. Just check out our Instagram and you'll know as soon as, or the moment the things go live, or the moment the pre-orders at least go live. Cool? Alright then. Moving out in general has now become a very Western concept. I mean, this is a thing that the Western world or the first world countries have been doing. Besides China, this is a thing that most of the Western countries have been doing for a lot of time, for a lot longer than us. As soon as their sons and daughters are 18, they're kicked out of the house and they're forced to live by themselves. Now, we don't really come from that culture. We don't really come from that background where we literally kick our sons and daughters and let them be by themselves. Now, for some, they say this is a problem. For some, they say it's actually a good thing. I stand somewhere in the middle. Your parents not wanting to move out is fair because our parents are a lot more attached to us, and even we are a lot more attached to our parents than the Western world. But this does not mean that you should not do it for your own growth and your own transformation. I think moving out teaches you a lot about being by yourself, and it makes you a lot more responsible that you should be at the very first place. But moving out just for the sake, or just for the idea, just for the visual, just for the sales of moving out is an absolute stupidity that most men and women are trying to conceive to nowadays. I have a different approach to moving out. I have a rather pragmatic, a rather practical approach to moving out. So this hopefully should help you in that practical approach if you do want to move out ever in your life. The very first thing that I'll want you to do, rather the very first habit that I want you to build, the very first skill that I want you to learn before you move out, if you do plan to move out, is try to put yourself in a routine. If you have a terrible routine as of right now, this is very easy for college folks who really are just moving out because they got a job outside, or they have been in this college outside and now they want to work in that city which is not in their own city and all of that. What really happens, college life is not really very structured and organized, especially if you're not into IIT, IIM or any one of these colleges. Your life is not going to be very routined or very disciplined in that context. You'll be sleeping in odd hours, you'll be getting up at weird hours, and you'll not have a routine, you'll not have a schedule for yourself, for your mind, for your body and everything that there is. So treat moving out like a tool, a very effective tool for your personal growth and for your personal transformation. Because if you know that this is the tool, you'll be responsible and you'll be smart about it. If you don't, then this tool can become a double-sided sword and it can kill you with it. If you do already have a terrible routine at place, if you aren't really very structured and organized at the very first place, then moving out and being by yourself is only going to amplify it 10 folds. Now what you can do while you are at home or while you are in your college or studying or being with your parents, whatever that you are doing, try to inculcate this one habit or this one skill as soon as you can. Get yourself to a routine as soon as you can, because all the freedom that you may achieve after moving out might not be all that motivating, might not be all that healthy for your own personal, mental and physical health if you aren't really very routined and structured in your life. At least for the majority of your life. Now, does it mean that you always need to be structured and routine? No, but at least 75 to 80% of the time. If you can manage the time you're sleeping and getting up at for the 5 or 6 days of a week, or at least for 4 to 5 days in a week, then you're in a good place to start. If not, let's fix that. If not, let's work on these foundational habits, these foundational life skills first. Because gaining the liberty, gaining the freedom of moving out sounds very fancy, it sounds very exciting, but doing so without this foundational habit will make it so much worse for your own personal journey. The second life skill, the second habit, or the second thing I'll want you to keep in mind if you're planning to move out is, at least for the first 6 or 7 months, try moving out to a place near to your parents' house. If you can, this is where I'm at. In case you can, in case you are able to, try to find a place which is somewhere close to your parents' house. I mean, that is if your parents are in the city, that is if you do end up finding a job in your city and all of that. If you can, this is a very good place to start, because moving out very close to your parents will probably give you the illusion of your freedom and space, but will also take care of some of the basic needs like meals, lunch and all of that good things. But the third thing that you have to keep in mind, this is where the second point makes absolute no sense, is you having the skill to cook and make your own meals. Now, cooking is an essential life skill every man must learn, every man must master. If you haven't, this is where you would want to start. Once you have put a structure, once you have put a routine in your life, you need to learn to cook your damn meals. I mean, do not make it fancy, do not make it complicated, but just learn to cook your 4-5 meals for every day. The moment you move out and start eating out, the moment you move out and start getting your orders from Swiggy and Zomato and whatnot, you will notice a difference in your health, you will notice a difference in your physique, your mental well-being, your physical well-being and all of that. I mean, first of all, it is very expensive to order outside food all the time, and second of all, it's equally expensive for you to hire a cook who will cook the meal for you at a given point in date. I mean, sure, you can do that if you're making a lot of money and whatnot, but even then, you knowing a few skills, you knowing a few meals to cook that you can possibly eat every day can never hurt, can never go bad any given time. The fourth thing, the fourth skill or the fourth habit that I would want you to keep in mind if you do plan to move out is start small, start cheap and start low. You don't need to move out to a fancy villa or a 5 BHK the very first time when you're trying to move out. Maybe have a roommate, maybe have a flatmate, maybe have a smaller place than what you can afford. I mean, even if you have the money to afford a big place, start small, because this is a very new experience, this is a very new move for you. I mean, I have literally slept in my office, not this office, this is a house, but when I had my couple of offices, I have literally slept there for a few days because that was pretty much my home. Now, even though I could afford a much bigger place than what I did, there was a reason I afforded something cheap, was because it was a very big but a very first move. I wasn't sure how would it turn out, I wasn't sure where would I take things from there. So the first financial thing that you can do for your moving out is move out small, move out to a much more affordable, cheaper, even cheaper and economical place. Roommates, flatmates, housemates, actually a lot more fun than what it may sound to you, because it'll keep you going, it'll be a lot more social, you'll have friends, you'll have someone to talk to, especially if you're not very introverted and whatnot, you'll probably appreciate a couple of good friends. But this brings me to the skill or the habit number 5. Choose your roommates and flatmates a little more consciously. You wouldn't want a roommate or a flatmate who's very similar to you, because then it'll just become very boring and you'll both probably end up doing nothing great in life. But you also wouldn't want to have a flatmate or a roommate who's totally extreme and bang opposite to where you are at, because that'll probably scare the fuck out of you and that'll probably just not align well with your lifestyle. I mean, if you're a non-smoker, if you don't drink, and if your flatmate or roommate is a serial smoker and drinks a lot, then it'll probably cause some sort of problem or some annoyance in the given time. But if you are someone who hasn't ever smoked or ever drank anything, but your roommate is a lot more social, not as social as the extreme one, but he's a lot more social, he still probably goes out every now and then this subtlety and this balance can actually push you to do things in your life that you haven't done otherwise. So be very wise, be very smart, and be conscious about the roommate or the flatmate that you choose. Sixth, easy but effective habit, learn to take care of your shit, learn to take care of your house, learn to clean and keep your things organized and maintained. Because if you don't, it'll become a lot more complicated for you to take care and find things when you need them at the right time. I mean, you're not having your mom and your grandpa around, you don't have your sister or your friends around. Learn the skill of organizing and taking care of your belongings as a man, as you should. Also learn to keep your stuff clean. Probably you'll have a friend over, probably you may have your girlfriend over. Why would you want to wait for that night or a day when you're trying to call your friend over? Why can't you just make your bed, keep it clean, keep your room tidy, so that whenever, if ever, your random friend or your cute little office folk comes into your house, you'll probably be surprised that holy hell, dude, you keep your house very fucking clean and neat. That's the point. That's where we are going with this. But lastly, one of my favorite ones, have fun with it. You're moving out. This is probably going to be a very big move in your life. This is going to be a very big decision of your life. Now that you have cleared out your structure, you're a lot more organized, you're a lot more routine, you have your shit together, you're smart with the money that you're trying to get the house at, you have a good roommate and all of it. Have fun with the process and use this moving out ka tool to help you grow better and stronger in life. Because you know what I really see in the metropolitan cities, or most of the metropolitan families, especially the middle class metropolitan families who aren't really in the top 1%, 5% of the population, they aren't really very free flowing, they aren't really very progressive with their kids, they aren't really very confident, inspiring about their kids. I mean, sure, there could be some, but the most that I have noticed, this is where I think moving out can actually make the man out of you, because it just exposes you to the world and makes you realize that, oh my god, the place that I have been living in, the place where my mom and my father has been taking care of me all this while, the real world is not like that. The real world is a lot more different. I probably have to learn a few skills. I probably have to learn to communicate. I probably should look good. I probably should cook my meal. I probably should lift some weights and all of these good things. I mean, if I can be honest, metropolitan kids, metropolitan men in general, have become a lot more softer than usual. They are becoming a lot more softer going forward as usual. Why? Because there is a Western influence here, and since the Western men are becoming a lot more beta and soft, so are the Indian metropolitan men in general. And on top of that, with the entitlement of our families and with the entitlement of our mothers and fathers who want to keep us safe, who want to protect us, and who want to never expose us to the outside world, that doesn't help us much with the problems anyway. So moving out is a beautiful tool. Moving out, I think, is very essential for most men, even women, to grow up and become their most efficient self. But you have to be wise, you have to be conscious, you have to be smart to use this tool in your favor and do it correctly. I hope this helps. I hope this was well worth your time. I'll probably do a vlog, I'll probably do a video of some sort when I do move out to a bigger place, where I'll probably have a lot more guests coming in, and I have a few things in my head which I'll talk about as the time comes. But for now, in case you haven't, check out TMB Basics, beautiful white shirt. In case you haven't, check out Boston's shoes. In case you haven't, do follow us on Cavs Grooming's Instagram, because this is where you'll know whenever this beautiful thing is live online. See you in the next one, gentlemen. Dress up, stay strong, stay stylish. My name is Mayank Bhattacharya. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck with your move out. Jai Hind.